Uh, what's going on? Hey, do I do like YouTuber intros now since I'm at 1K? I feel like that's what I have to do. I feel like I have to. Okay. All right. Anyways, I want to say thank you guys for 1K subscribers. I think it's really cool. I feel like the little kid version of me right now is like, wow, that's so cool. You have like a K and you're a subscriber. Like, that's so tough. The point of today is we're going back to our roots, kind of some of the first things we did on this channel, as we started to become kind of what we are now. And we used to do hella world tours, and there's one thing that's been consistent through the years.
I love, I love, I love, I love, I love.
It's been through many iterations, many changes, but this is the one and only ImmaSurvival, the true one, the first one, the only one that's stood the test of time. And I want to give a little backstory to this world. And so this world it started on my last PC. It started when I first got my computer, right in the midst of COVID. And Minecraft was the only game I had. And I would play it for hours and hours every day. And I built this world for, I think, 5 years would be right to say. And so for 5 years now, we've been playing this world. And we have about 60 days of playing time. A little more if you count when we jump to when we ported the world over to our new PC. When we got that grown-up money a little bit. When we went to college and we got some money. We bought a PC for the kind of stuff that we were going to be doing. Because I do like architectural stuff in the real world. Go figure. But yeah, I got this PC. And when I ported over the hard drive, I wiped it. I wiped it on accident and I lost everything except for I sneakily had a flash drive that I used to put the world on my school laptop just a couple months beforehand. So I did lose about 6 months worth of work, but it wasn't worth, the other 4 years I had spent playing this world. So yeah, we'll start with the main base. Okay, so if at any point the world or the recording gets a little laggy, just know this is a very large world with a lot of entities. Anyways, this is the main, my main like hotspot. This is my main, kind of the front yard of my main base there, and this is where the world started. Oh my gosh, am I gonna have to deal with you guys? Should I? Would it be smart to copy the world and then play on peaceful? Alright, I won't. Just so we can have some... Is bro upset? Alright, my bad, man. Anyways... Dude, just get out of here, man! Get out of here if it's a problem! Anyways, this world started, like I said, 5 years ago, and that was my first little hut. And then I expanded literally from that point to the rest of the island and somewhat, I guess, colonized it. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. If these structures look cool, then it could be a good thing. I don't know. But yeah, but before we get into the base, I think I'm going to start here. This is the museum. This is where everything special in my world comes. And it stays here if it's special. And this is also the map of all the builds we've done in 5 years. All of them, that's questionable, but this is all of my efforts. This is a concentrated effort over 5 years, and this is what it's amounted to so far. I have so many more plans for this thing. It's just I don't have a lot of time now, and even this area now, it's lost a lot of progress, and so that kind of digs into my motivation if I want to keep doing it. But I think it's alright. It's fine. But yeah, this map's pretty cool. As you can see, this is where we're at now. This is where we just were. And so we have our gardens, and maybe I'll go F1 so you can see this a little bit better. But you see there in the center of my screen, that's where we're at. We have our little gardens, and then all these little houses, and then that's the main base. And then we'll get to the farming district, and then we'll get to the traditionalist houses. It's just a villager city. the Gold City, Copper City, Pirate Island, Mob Museum, the Oil Rig, and then that's base 2, Guardian Farm. So there's a couple farms littered out there, and then there's a couple builds farther off, way out this way, that maybe we'll look into, because that's actually the Diamond Village. There's a whole lore to this world. Maybe I'll get into it. Maybe I won't. It's kind of nerdy, but if it's not nerdy, I'm gonna be honest. It's not cool. It's not cool. And those houses aren't even in there anymore. Probably should update that map. This is the museum. And so the museum houses all of the coolest things in my world, whether they be just sentimental items, like items that are just really old. Like these are my old redstone boxes. And like, I could use that stuff, but like, it's kind of just old and sentimental now. There's no reason to use it. I have farms that produce all that stuff. So these are early crafted, you know, they were crafted early on in our game. And same things with these. Like these are the legacy boxes. Those boxes turned into what this build is entirely. But yeah, just a lot of stuff. So just like items we don't even really need anymore. Like we have an elytra. We'll always have an elytra. We have an endless supply of elytra. So now we just kind of store the excess in one spot. Same thing with tools. Like we just have a lot of tools now. There's no reason to carry around 3 shulker boxes. We can do something cool with them. You know, display them like this. Over here, these are really cool items. These are all of our retired bows. So we have the Achiever, Old Arrow. Oh, that was a... Oh, shit. I'm having, like, flashbacks. The Lost and Found, the Million-Year-Old Bow, the Devolved Bow, and then we're on Hell's Ember now. We have the first crafted pickaxe. That's actually not even true because there was a wooden one crafted before that. But this is the first stone one. And that's the first diamond pickaxe. And then we had all of the discs. Oh, we do now, too, as of, like, yesterday. I'll show you where those are at. And then here's the armor that we spent wearing for, I think this is 32 hours. But yeah, just a bunch of cool stuff. You know, old horses, bunch of old armor. Just a bunch of cool stuff. On the Emerald Hallway, we have an homage to a bunch of different projects. This is the 3 million block perimeter that we dug out in the Nether. We used withers, we used TNT, we used our fucking bare hands. During that time, we collected we collected a lot of netherite, and so we put all that into gear that we were going to store here. And yeah, so pretty cool. This is the Deep Dark homage, I guess. Just loot we've got from the Deep Dark here. We don't use this stuff a lot, but when we do need it, we can come down here and get what we have of it. What's up, bro? Collected all the flowers in the game. Well, up until the point that I had done this build. All the wool. This little exhibit. We are starting to... I'm changing the style up a little bit. And I'm going to make like these stalls in between each of these that represent a different thing. And the way I kind of did for the Deep Dark, I kind of gave the Deep Dark its own stall of like, hey, I've conquered this biome. This is what I did for the trial chamber. So these are all just different loot I got from it. We have I carry these on me, but I'm supposed to keep them here. But I just really like them, and I was gonna take them out and use them. These are all the trims that you get from there, the rare ones. So we grinded this space out, and we can say that we, for 100%, conquered it. We still have a bunch of stuff that we need to unload from here. But yeah, we got tons and tons of stuff, dude. Like, tons of stuff. We're good. We're gonna be good off loot for a while. Like, this type of stuff isn't gonna move from here, just because it's loot that we collected from the trial chamber. And so it's going to stay in this slot. And the goal is to make more chambers of that as they release more updates. And I'm a little bit behind. I don't know if you noticed. Like, I just now got that thing. So I don't know what they're planning to do. I know there's like some weird... The Pale Oak, I think, is a thing. I've only been there a couple times. It was just to get the wood. And I didn't really have to deal with anything. So now we're out here. You can see we have a ghast. And we captured him long ago, and his texture didn't used to look like that. He used to be completely covered, or he used to completely cover this thing, but now it's kind of ugly. You can kind of see it, and he can see me now. He used to not be able to see me, but he put a hole in my base the other day. I might have to kill him soon. I don't want to, but he's so OG. He's been there forever. But anyways, this is a walk past some of the old stuff. And this world is so... I might even just supply you guys with the world download. Because this world has so many just little things in it. Like down here, there's a little side project we did. It's literally just a little decorative cave that's underneath our giant deck. Yeah, my base is just full of stuff like this. Just little projects to pay homage to stuff. Just little things. And that's the thing that makes me, I think, while I've been able to play this world for so long, is because you'll notice throughout this world, I do like an alternation of two things, where I build something that's completely empty, and then I will alternate and go back to a build that I've already built that doesn't have anything inside of it, and give it purpose. So it's like two versions of things I like to do, where I like to really focus on the outside of a structure and I don't really care about what it does, and then in the future I'll give it form and make it cool. But yeah, this is the old wing of the base. All of this is abandoned, and it's kind of really cool to see. If I go back to the very first world tour I did, and this space is just, it's completely changed. I mean, we used to live at this spot of the base, and every view is completely different. The science center completely defunct. I mean, this whole wing of the base is completely overgrown. That's what it was. So some Fantasia's taken over, and you'll notice that throughout a lot of my builds is, I don't know if this is fanatical, the word for it. Like if I say Fantasia, is fanatical the equal sign to that? But anyway, so that wing of the base is all old. It's all sad, but none of those structures have any purpose. There's no insides. Like if you look inside this one, nothing going on there. The science center, there's something, but we'll spin the block for that. Or maybe I won't even, because that place hasn't even changed since it's been on my channel last. So I guess if you really want to see it, you could go watch one of the older ones, or I could just
yeah, this is supposed to be netherite, which
bro,
is
that's
the
a conduit
better version of diamond now, which we don't have netherite because we're not 1.15.
bro. What does an indirect gotta do with 1.15?
Conduit.
Those are
this
off.
is a
Nope. What the fuck?
a dragon egg. This is my office.
Bro's office is with the
Yeah.
pigmen.
And this over here are the simulated biomes. So,
Okay, so he's simulating
nether
these.
here. It's just a 3x3x3
It's a big ass.
area.
That's not
There's
3x3x3,
just
bro.
plains
That's a
with
whole
bees in it,
conference room.
and a mushroom area. Down here we have
Laggy ass
some board
recording,
room
bro.
meeting. Nothing is really there yet. And here we have a like another experimenting room.
That's experimenting
That actually
room?
has a vault
It's like a vault, bro.
We have nothing.
There you go. There's a clip of it. There's just like a little montage clips of it. Okay, cool. So walking up to the main base. So the nether portal is just over here. This is the Ark base, and it's inspired by Borderlands. I don't know if you guys have ever watched or played Borderlands, but you can definitely see the resemblance. We've got these giant arcs, and it's a theme that we do through this kind of courtyard. This part of my base. It doesn't really come up after this, but it's very strong within this area. So down here we have the Eden project, and that's in the basement of my main base. And it literally just houses all the kind of foundational core mobs, because this area is very like industrialized and urban sprawled, and there's not a lot of green space. We were like, okay, the solution to this will be put everything into a vault, and if something goes bad and we lose everything, we can have like a source to build from, And so going into the base, I know I'm kind of moving along here. Going into the base, we have our giant storage system. I used to have the stats on this thing ready and firing off the app at the... Oh, I'm rapping now. I used to have the stats ready and firing off at my hip, but I cannot do that anymore. I do not remember how many items this thing holds. I just know it holds a lot. And I'm going to be honest, I don't really use it that much anymore. It's, it doesn't really match the pace of my playstyle anymore. I think this is made for, I can't even really explain it. I just don't think it matches the pace of my playstyle. So, and I'll show you where I mainly use it now. But the idea is you just place your shulker boxes into this little this chest here, and then it'll fire out through here, unload everything. And if it doesn't go, if it doesn't find a slot within the storage system, it'll just store it in here, and that's the overflow. And then that's it. That's the end of it. And you got to grab your shulker boxes out of here. Just one story up, we have the book selector. What do I call it? It's called the book selector 3000. And so up until I built this thing, it had every single enchantment in the game. It's pretty cool. So you can go to a page. So say you want blast protection, and what it will do is it'll cycle to it singles out the furthest signal. And so as you flip through a book, that signal strength's going to get stronger. And so basically it's a book selector. It just selects the book. And then you click the button, and then you get the book you want. I'm being dramatic. Once it runs out, it'll tell you with the light being on. Swift Sneak, we don't have a lot of because it's kind of a more rare one. We had to go to the Deep Dark to get that. So we're not full on this one, so it's telling us it's empty, but it's just telling us it's low, to be honest, because we're not reading from here. We're reading from this top shulker box. And for most of these, they're completely full. Or completely full as in I had a shulker box, and now I don't have a shulker box because they're in the dispenser. The third floor, this is where our potion brewery is. We literally never use this thing either. This thing's kind of fodder, kind of decoration. And so we're just going to glaze past it. This is our shulker box collector. And it tells you how many shulker boxes we have in our mega storage system of shulker boxes, which is really just 2 double chests behind it with a comparator hooked up to it. So super genius design. Pretty simple, but over here you can select how many shulkers you want from 1, 3, and 4, or you can pull the lever and just get as many as you want. The idea here was I wanted to create a spot where I had all the shulkers in my world stored in one location, and I feel like I kind of pulled it off. I kind of keep track of shulker boxes now. They're not everywhere in my world like they used to be, and now I have a steady flow of shulker boxes if I ever need them. This is a little workshop, again, a little decoration build. This one's supposed to be like a little car shop, so we got a lighter, screwdriver, welding goggles, bolt cutters, spark plugs, crowbar, shovel. That's just a spyglass. And so yeah, our bed kind of looks like the museum a little bit, and our bed came from before the museum. So I wonder if this pattern didn't inspire that. And I would have no way of knowing because I don't remember. So here is the I don't know which floor because I can't count. So we have first, second, third, fourth. So on the 5th floor, this just has a bunch of random crafting things. Ooh, this is a very important box. I should not have just left it here. This is all the trims in the game. Let me grab that. I should not have just left it here. It's because I was working on this armor. I just got through with the trial chambers, and I was just applying this to my newly found gear. And then at the same time, I hit 1K. So I was like, all right, this is a sign. This is a sign. Full circle. Oh, yeah, that's a pretty... I've never sat from this spot and admired this view. This is all new, by the way. This is all extremely new. So that was the 5th floor. This makes this the 6th floor. This is where our main storage system is. This is kind of where we do everything. This is like, if I were to have a Let's Play on this video or on this world, this is where I would start every video, because this is like this is the nestle. This is the nest. This is the... I don't know how else to say it. It's just where my heart goes to in my world, all right? And I wouldn't want anywhere else to be my home except for here. Okay, anyways, but enough of that. It's just a bunch of random assorted items that I randomly need and randomly have. And then if I ever have them on me, I can randomly throw them into these chests, if that makes sense. Like if I have a shulker box and I was mining sand, and somehow I always find that I'm collecting more beds in a shulker box, or I find that I have slime in that shulker box, or for some reason I have a bunch of ores because maybe I was mining. All that stuff just goes into here, and then that shulker box is going to go into the main storage, down into the auto sorter one, so it doesn't have to deal with all these little items. So basically, I'm like a little filter, and then the big filter's down low. I click it, and what do I do? I get fireworks. It's awesome. This is probably the coolest thing I've ever done in my world, and it's not even a good contraption. You could probably make this infinitely better. I probably overbuilt, overspent on it, but it is what it is. And up here, you're going to have a jump boost, so we've kind of designed it that we can utilize that jump boost, and kind of makes you feel like you're more into the space, because now the abilities you get from being this high up in the tower actually affect with how you move in the space. So this is our another music disc collection where we don't have the oh wait, I think we actually should. We should have every one now because we have duplicates down there to head towards the industrial district. So over here we have some more kind of Fantasia area, and this is kind of break up the two spaces. So like I kind of hinted at a little earlier, I do a little architectural and like design work in my real life. So it's kind of been happening in Minecraft that I've been bringing in real world things and real world design concepts that I wasn't really aware of before, that I was doing before too. And it's kind of cool to see my my skills having evolved so much. But this little forest here was kind of just made to separate these two spaces. We have these two giant vertical elements, and I didn't want them to be too close to each other and perceived as like they're the same type of deal, because these are two different styles of buildings, and I wanted them to be different buildings, if that makes sense. This is Courtyard. So this is called Courtyard City. Not really. I just started crafting little courtyards for this giant boardwalk. You'll see that over here, when we had this kind of cobblestone boardwalk, it was very slim, very small. You don't really have a lot of room to put stuff out of there. Yo, are you so serious? Shoot it. I'm gonna get away. I don't want to provoke him. Okay, but anyways, there wasn't a lot of room to build, but on this one, I made the weird decision to make this super big, and I think that's because I had the intent to create buildings on it. It's just I didn't end up doing that. I ended up putting them out there in the world, and now they're these giant structures, and that makes so much sense because I wanted that space in between them, so we had two different vertical elements instead of one vertical element that was two different structures. If that makes sense. I don't know. There's going to be some people out there that get what I'm saying. I know to some people I probably sound like I'm making complete, utter nonsense, sensical. I don't make any sense, but the idea was, hey, let's split up the space. But they use a couple of like real world elements. Like these are shipping containers that are being turned into like kind of like structures to create barriers, and kind of they're turning into like buildings, and they got pergolas, and there's planters with trees in them, and then you can get up top, and so they're balconies. And so in that way we're using real world things, and we're not just erecting structures. Like this isn't something that I can't look at anything real world and see this, you know? This is a pure Minecraft creation, and I love that. But I love the collision of these two things, if that makes sense. And so over here, you can turn the path. Over here is a little loading dock down into the slums, which aren't quite built yet, but you kind of can get a view of that, what that looks like. Basically, this is supposed to, you know, go up and down, and it moves cargo up and down throughout the city. But over here, we have more of this courtyard stuff, and all these little areas just lead back to my base. If you're wondering, like, these are all empty structures, and it's just one path. It's just, you go up a flight of stairs, empty room, and then it leads you out there, and you can go into the main base. So, just in case you guys are wondering. And then these two farms, I almost glossed right past this, but within this loading dock, down here is also the storage room for these two things. So, we have all of our cactus is on this one, and all of our sugarcane in here. So, pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool. And then down here is our little dog hut, dungeon. I don't know what you call it. This is our army. The oldest guy here, Blue. This is the dog. Man, he's been here forever. If you go back to some of my old Minecraft streams, man, he's ancient. All these guys are really ancient, too. It's like 5 years plus they've been alive. And they've been alive because they don't move. I don't move them. Anyhow, so moving on, I was going to go straight into the traditionalist area. I call them traditionalists because basically there's this whole lore about the reason why I have all these crazy structures next to these old houses is because somebody broke off and started using redstone to create things, but the traditionalists, the people who ran the village, were like, Nah, bro. In the same way that the diamonds, you know, they don't use their diamonds to gain the upper hand. People just like diamonds, and so they are powerful, or whatever, yada yada. You know, Gold City doesn't use their gold. They just use it as like a currency, is what I'm trying to get at. And they were like, blah, 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 blah. And then they didn't want to do it, so then they were like separatists, and then the separatists built the city. I told you it was nerdy, but you kind of get where I'm going with this. I kind of had to explain why I had these like old-timey Victorian-esque houses next to these weird skyscrapers that like don't really follow a trend, and they're just all really weird designs and weird cool concepts. And you know bringing a story to the space always makes it feel just that much more alive. So to me, there was a little bit of fun in doing that. Okay, so over here we have the original cobblestone generator. This is the original design, and if we go around here, you can kind of see it a little bit better. And we still kind of have the rock thing logo happening here. The same thing over here. The tree thing logo is still there, so you can still see the origins of my world. And it's something I was inspired by the old Minecraft mini games on the 360, where every time they released like a new lobby, it was just like built on top of the old one, and you could like find ways to get into the old one. And so I thought it'd be cool to not, you know, demolish or rebuild and like, or like make a new base where I have all this cool stuff. I just leave the old structure and then build the new one directly on top. And again, I have to explain this with lore, why, you know, this weird collision is happening where we have this kind of weird, it's not really weird, it's cool, but why do we have this architecture style that's kind of using all this greenery, all this grass, all this white and all this blue and brick? Why do we have that building next to this building, especially if the rest of the city is super uniform? And so lore-wise, the idea is finally someone came along and was like, yeah, redstone's good, and so they're building their own stuff now. And so they didn't have anywhere else to build because we kind of built on the whole island. And so they're just building directly on top now. And as technology gets more and more advanced, it's just going to get more and more like hyper good, like, or just better. And so the idea is that the old city is literally just going to get covered up by a new city. And you can see that happening with like this structure going, this structure's happening. The old roads are literally being built over with these new like hovering but also kind of supported roads. It's weird, but yeah, it's cool. I think it's a cool idea. Pretty important spot. All the major farms, I'm gonna say major, all the major farms are all connected into this building via like underground ice water tunnel things. And so our mob farm is gonna bring everything to here. This is this row here for all of those drops, and then down here we have the carrots. This is the wheat one, carrot farm. It's working, yeah, it's working. And then over here is our melon pumpkin farm, and then over here is our iron farm. But all these are located in the city, and this is what I mean. Like when you're down here, this is an entirely different vibe. You can see the conformity of every single build. And so when you go up top and you see this differentiation happening, I'm cooking. When you see this alternation happen, when you see this transition happen, basically it just looks kind of weird. And you kind of, for me at least, it makes sense to create a story on why that transition's happening in the first place. But yeah, the collection happens throughout the entire build. And what I mean by collection is there's two more. We have from the wood generator down below, which is also one of the hidden farms we're going to go look at. Has every single, not every single, just the wood types we farm. And then our cobblestone generators are to here. And then we also have a main office that's sitting right here. We have our secretary sits right there. And this is where we get all of our work done. And we look at our main base and we look at our competitors. Because now we have competitors, you know, and it's awesome. And the competitors are just me, because I'm the only one that played this world. It's just me in here. All right, so yeah, that's the vault building, I call it. It's where everything goes. Everything goes. And I think this one has been around for a while, so it's probably been in some of my old world tours, but it's gone through a lot of changes, and so has everything else. Even these these giant roads that are floating. So I think I'm gonna try to fire off at the hip because I don't want it to be super long and going through every single detail. Even though I'm super enthusiastic about every build, I know not every build is that exciting because I haven't even put that much detail into it. Just firing off at the hip, we have our this is the first one you're seeing. This is a trading farm. We trade. This is the one where we generate food. So we bring emeralds in, and then we get all the kind of food we could ever want, from cakes, potatoes, not potatoes, but like pumpkin cake. What, I don't know, the food that you trade for, all that stuff. And then this is our giant furnace, automatic smelter, wart farm, netherwort farm. We have a couple more trading things in here. Keep on moving on. We're gonna keep firing off at the hip. We have the melon and pumpkin farm. That's right here. This is the back of the tree farm. This one isn't super covered up in the back, actually, now that I'm looking at it. Super way in the back there. Maybe you can see it, maybe you can't. That is our iron farm, kind of tucked away behind these two buildings. We built those just to kind of hide that because there's not really a building I could do for that. And I didn't want to build a giant building around it because it would have turned out to be the biggest building. And I didn't want to texture something like that. So yeah, here we have our giant mob farm. This is the multi-mob farm version 2. It's gone through a couple iterations, and it's been like in 4 spots on this. But this is the final one that we settled on. So yeah, and it works beautifully. This thing is, it cranks through mobs like no other. And here's the second villager trading hall. This one's all books. And I used to have a book, but it would tell you exactly where everything is. Just a quick little scan. You know, it's pretty simple. I thought it was pretty cool. And this is a cool little lookout by the docks and just on the verge of the city looking towards the Copper City. And we'll get to that too. That's a project that was finished, but also didn't get finished because we lost all the progress to it. It's cool though. You'll also notice that like this has a lot of pedestrian specific stuff, but also has infrastructure for roads. And that's because that's because I became aware of infrastructure, like actual infrastructure. And again, it's just cool to see like how my builds evolve. Like I go from building just these giant, super basic ledges that are meant just for you to walk on. And they're super, like, I'm gonna be honest, they're super aesthetically pleasing. They all confirm. Are you so serious? Yo, chill, bro. Stop. You fucked up for that, bro. If you burn... No! Oh my god, if it started burning shit down, I would have lost my mind. Before I got so rudely interrupted, the point was, this place is super aesthetically pleasing, but I was never thinking about function. I was always thinking about how it looked. I was always thinking about aesthetics. That was all I thought about. But now you can see my brain operating on a level where it's thinking about, it's considering more things when it's designing. It's not just thinking about, you know, oh, I'm going to walk this way. I'm considering, oh, but you know, if there was this structure where it was pumping out, you know, it was manufacturing cobblestone, it would need a way to take it away. And so that's when cars come into play. But then you'd need a way for people to get to jobs. So then you'd need roads. But how do they walk to the outfitters that's just across the street that I built in this market plaza? How do they get to the outfitters? How do they get to the locker? Pedestrian plazas. How do they get to their house? Oh my god, we build housing, you know? And it's little things like this. I just think it's so cool to see my brain literally, you see it evolve from that cave, from that point in the world, in that cave, you see my brain evolve, and you start seeing every facet that my brain has learned to think in, and it's, I don't know, man, it's just pretty interesting and pretty cool. I'm probably just blabbering now, and I'm probably just spaghetti word vomiting, but man, I don't know. I just think it's so cool to see how everything's evolved. So I haven't gone through everything in here, and I'm not going to, you know, in super great detail. I'm going to swing around, and we're going to look over the traditionalist area. But I'm going to kind of look in here just so you guys can get a look at what's going on here, because on the map it's super big and prominent, but it's not really that cool. Basically the idea is we're taking stuff from the farming district, and we have an unloading dock here that's taking it into our base. That's pretty much all that's happening there. But the crosswalk and the courtyard city that we have, it all kind of connects here, and so I thought I would kind of just bring it up and kind of tell you. So you can go up this way, that takes you to the industrial district. You can also go up and go into the main base, or you can take it this way. Oh, and I forgot to mention, this is an entrance to the Eden project, right? Are you so serious? Embarrassing. Am I tripping? No, I just suck. This is an entrance to the Eden project, an actual entrance. That's just like an observatory hall. This is the actual entrance to it. But yeah, this is just a little entrance to that. And then, so yeah, this is kind of a cool little convergence point. And then over here is a tribute to an old build that was here. We had a giant castle that was built here. And then eventually I tore it down super early on in the world. I don't even know if I have screenshots of it. I might be able to find like still frames of it from like old videos I have, but it's a shot in the dark. Yeah, this is the traditionalist area. I've gone through this a couple times. It's obviously got some new things. This is new. The idea is that they're evolving too. Like they're starting to use brickwork now. It's just they've taken a little while, and now they're tapping into magic. So they've got all these crystals growing. They've got weird creatures growing. Things that are kind of phonetical. I don't know. What are you, bro? Look at OG. I forgot how cool baby villagers are, bro. They really just thug around. All right. Anyways, this is actually a physical separation of the OG villagers from the villagers I brought in from a farther away to create a new village. So these are the OG villagers, and I don't know if this is like a weird. I don't know if that's weird to do that, what I just did. But yeah, and then down here we have the archaeological dig where they are looking for old artifacts, and they found this guy. Kind of cool. Not much of a story there. I didn't really explore that, but yeah, and then over here is where the merchants are. So you'll see that the building style changed a little bit, but not really, not too much. The front doors kind of changed, and you'll see that these kind of are now closets, and we've got a little more thought going into them. I think it's pretty cool. Here's the only standing piece of the oh, no. Okay, so there are some other pieces of the castle. I just don't fucking remember. I don't come over here. So here's some pieces of the castle that still kind of remain. And the idea was that piece that's over there in that tunnel kind of fell over, and now it's just supporting whatever they built on top of it. So people from the Golden Village would come and trade with people from this village, the Redstone Village. And yeah, they did that. Over there's the oil rig. We'll look at that in a second. We're going to hop back to, after we get through with the Golden Village, we'll hop up to the Copper City, and then we'll hop out that way, because there's three things we need to look out that way. That thing, Pirate Island, and the Mob Museum, which only has up until the Warden, but we don't actually have the Warden, so I can't even really say that. So yeah, this is the Gold Village. It's not super crazy. It really is just this shot. This is really the main shot of the village. Yeah, that's it. We have some docks, bringing in some gold, bringing in some lumber, some building equipment. They're gonna build up and stuff. This place serves no function at all. It's every building inside of here is like a facade. That none of them have structure, like, at all. Like, pick a random one. Here's an example. It's literally just meant for the Lord. We built this entire facade just for the sake of oh my god, you guys are loud. Just for the sake of having like a gold village, because remember we were going for like the Redstone Village, Diamond Village, Copper City, yada yada. Down here is a giant, just a giant. I don't even know how to describe this area. And I would talk about this area for longer, but that's really all this area is. I can give you like a couple of cool like spin shots of this place, but yeah, and there's not much history to it either. Like the only history I have is that we built all this out and we built a fake island until out here, and then we bridged the gap here, connected these islands, and we repeated the pattern. We just filled everything else up. We made this road completely go around, and then we did have a cool bridge that connected to Pirate Island, which will just flash at you before we go to Copper Island, or the Copper City. This is Pirate Island. Pretty cool. We're gonna go this way. So this city's kind of cool. This is another one. Like I was saying, it's lost a lot of progress, and I don't know why clouds are on, but I'm not gonna turn them off. So this place, basically, it's just a little. It's like a copper floating city. It's supposed to be like a mechanical city that's using propellers to kind of stay in the air. And they trade, and that's what they do. Then that's kind of why they're docked on the edge of our city here, is because this is our trade port, I guess, if that's what you want to call it. And they're trading with us. That's kind of the reason they're here. And this place was done, like I said, but we lost a lot of progress and ended up just kind of ditching it. I might finish it, I might not, because I'm not even really that passionate about it, and it already kind of looks cool in the sky. As long as I don't come up here a lot, I don't think I'll miss it, you know? So, it is what it is. This area of the base is pretty bare. Nothing on this side of the island. But now that we're kind of back to this OG area, this side of the island is completely, remember, like I said, overgrown. I didn't mention it, but here we have the creeper farm and also our mine, which I'll just take a peek in. It's big enough where it deserves, like, some screen time, but it's nothing that'll take, you know, a super long time, so I'm not worried that I'm gonna be thrown off my game. It's just this super large hole in the ground. That's literally it. Just all this. And then we've made some of the mine look pretty by having a storage system and then like some biomes, some like simulated biomes. That's pretty much it. But then we have this giant hyper, I keep saying hyper. It's just like this railroad, monorail type thing. And it connects out to our oil rig. And the oil rig, again, is another one of those structures that we lost that some of that completion work whenever we built this new computer. And so we lost a lot of the interior. The farms are still here, but the interior of this building is gone. And it was looking really cool. So this one I am kind of devastated by, because we do come here a lot for some of the stuff, but you know, it is what it is. Can't have it your way all the time. But yeah, we just have these little farms. The idea was this was supposed to be 1.17 farms. And that was the first half of the Caves and Cliff update. And so we just had these micro farms around to just farm different things. So this is a giant, not giant, it's actually pretty small. You had a problem with me, bro? Pretty cool though. It's something I designed on my own. I'm using monostable circuits. I'm using flickering flip-flop switches, and it's loud. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. It's something I'm pretty proud of, and it actually legit works too. Very, very loud. But yeah, that's I guess sadly that's this building, and all of it too. There's nothing up here really. There's a super tiny dripstone farm, but again, tiny. Doesn't really do much. And then the rest of the build is completely empty. So this one is kind of a waste of potential. This one I might get back to though, because this one I actually liked. But yeah, we got a little details like a little helicopter up here. No, I did not do this on my own. I definitely stole this just from like a YouTube video or I just looked up helicopter and built it. So I wish I could give credit, but I don't know. Is the Mob Museum, and this is a really cool build. It's a mega structure, probably the biggest build I have, like single building, you know. But yeah, I mean it's a pretty fucking cool build. We got like these guardians that kind of protect the area. And there are two ways you can go. So you can step down into the first section of the mobs, or you can stay at the same level and look at these mobs, or you can go up to the second story and look at these mobs. And yeah, it's just keeps a lot of mobs. This guy is not legit, by the way, unfortunately. He's just a guy who picked up some diamond armor, and I decided to put him up in here. This is supposed to be where the warden goes, but then I quickly realized that that would not be smart. Even if I put, you know, wool here, he'll still turn my screen dark. So couldn't do that. But yeah, we'll just skim through some of the coolest mobs I have. So I'll show you the coolest ones. We have a blue axolotl. It's pretty rare. It's pretty rare, and it takes a lot of time. You have to breed these motherfuckers for like a solid, I would say it took me 80 hours before I finally got one of these guys. Not straight, but just within an 80 hour of Minecraft, it took me to get that guy. Every variant of the frog, right? We got the Vex, we got the pig, we got the sheep, we got the cow, we got the horse, we got the donkey, we got the mule, we got the mushroom, lightning mushroom, wolf, cat, fox, goat, chicken, bee, and it just keeps on going. And then down here is 4 stories of every block that you can place in the game, up until the warden. I don't know. There are definitely new blocks that I haven't quite got yet, but this is every single block that is placeable in the game. It's a pretty cool project. It took a while, but blocks aren't really the hardest thing to collect. So this one is probably gonna piss a lot of people off, just because it doesn't serve a function other than I used it to breed axolotls. And you'll see this is where I was breeding them, was in this little contraption. But yeah, other than that, this city was built for no reason other than I was bored, and there is no interior to anything in these builds at all. In fact, some of them you couldn't get an interior inside of them because they are literally 3 blocks wide. It's just all fake. There's no structure in there at all. This was an old castle that was torn down and taken over by the pirates, and that's kind of the story of this island. Oh, these guys are demons. I forgot I made these monsters. This farm, and I can go over this pretty simply, is just a music farm. Technically it's a creeper farm, but we mainly use it to use this skeleton here to create discs. Fuck. All right, looks like it's kind of broke right now, so it'll just be broke for now. And anyways, creeper farm, the skeleton there is supposed to shoot the guy, and then it gives us a disc, and we have a lot of discs now because of it. Over here is a pretty early one, just a slime farm, 2x2 chunk. We dug it out, put some iron golems in the middle, and now it works like a charm. So it does its job, gets us all the slime we need. So, and we don't gotta be here for long, you know. We can be brief about it. It kind of uses, okay, this is kind of cool, unloading system. It's pretty simple, nothing crazy. This is and this has been through many iterations. This is a pretty loud farm. And there's a version where you can go passive and you can get your XP from here, or you can just drop them down and just kill them. And this is the one that kind of gets you all of your all the building supplies you're ever gonna want. And it's great, man. This farm it's one of my favorites because I've done so many iterations. I did one where I raised, and if I'll even put the like a screenshot of it if I can find it, but I raised the water level up like 3 or 4 blocks, and I put soul sand down at the bottom of it, and I had it so it was like moving everything into one spot, but all those bubble columns made it so laggy and so slow. So we just had to settle for this new design, and I think it looks great. I think it looks awesome, and it's working. You know, it's not like it's great. It's awesome. So we'll hop through the Nether to go through the rest of everything. We have a couple of builds, a little farther out, not like super far away. I'm just gonna walk there just now. But this is Diamond City. Maybe it's a little farther. Oh, it's right here. So this is Diamond Village, Diamond City. And it's not really a city. It's kind of, out of all the villages, it's probably the least developed, but it's the biggest footprint. The idea was we were going to fill all of this out with these style of houses. And again, you can see this is a time before I was really thinking about all facets of development, because I would have been thinking about like, okay, we got a dock that could come into here, and then we could tie this into the road, and then, man, now that I think how I think I could do more projects, and make them look cooler. I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping. Maybe I'm not. And that's a statue of our first skin, where we were just chilling in the tuxedo. Now we're in like this like a laboratory thing. Hold on. Now we're in like this laboratory thing. Man, I'm so commercialized, bro. I used to be so free and independent. Okay, so build-wise, that's all I think we have to go over in the overworld. There's one more thing I think I'd like to show you, and we'll just do it real quick. There's no nether portal to it. It's just kind of in the middle of nowhere, and it doesn't serve any purpose. It's just something I thought was really cool, and this is a project I did where it's called Project Remember the Greats, and so I built 3 replicas, and kind of destroyed them, of some of my favorite Minecraft YouTubers. So here's someone I talk about a lot, and I've referenced him in a lot of my videos, is Ethos Lab. And so this is the man cave, kind of old and wilted away, even though it's still growing very strong. It's kind of old and wilted away and just out here, just so I remember the greats, just so I remember my roots, the people who inspired me, that type of stuff. Over here is a replica of, and let's just be honest, Stampy's very bad house. Like, for the time, it has something that's so 2010s about it that it's all right. I can live with it. But it's kind of ass. Like, it kind of, and Dan TDM's base is no better. Like, it's kind of ass. And the only good one here is really Ethos base. It's really the only good one. Not to mean to talk shit, but yeah, it's all these builds are block for block replicas, and they're pretty cool. And they took a long ass time to build. I watched through a lot of the videos, realized that wasn't working, and so I watched tutorials and did it that way. Actually, Ethos, I had to do by hand. These guys, tutorials were made for them. Okay, and so that's pretty much everything I want to go over in the overworld. That's like close to home. There are a couple like a raid farms I might pop in, show you the footprint of it. All right, so breaking the bedrock, we have a pretty cool kind of space that's starting to spark up here. So we have a piglin bartering system, and we started with this one. This is the very first iteration, and it's a pretty cool design. This is a design, we got super into the engineering of Minecraft, and so we engineered this from scrap, and we built our own design. And you'll see it's super big, not super compact. It's doing a lot of things that it shouldn't do in the first place. Like, why is it wrapping this way? It should just come here, and then put this system here, and now you've eliminated all this extra use of rail. Anyways, basically, over time, we just kept refining and refining and refining. And so this is the second iteration of that, where we bring everything into a visible view. So you can see this, you can see the individual silos that these guys have. So instead of having one giant shared one, they have their own giant pools. And so you can leave this running for longer. And so that was an innovation there. We had an innovation where we had items that we didn't really care for, or items that we did care for and that we wanted to move to another storage. That way we would have the advantage of having mass storage. And then once a minecart is full, it'll shoot it back to the back of the loop and unload it in these silos. And these are, again, things that we're developing as we go. And you can see this one is one where, again, we're not optimizing that use of the railroad. And that's really where version 3 comes in, because Not optimizing the railroad also means that it's the entire system is running slower. So when you have these giant radiuses almost of where your rails are so far from your design and so far from where they end up, okay, you basically create this like pseudo queue, and it's almost gonna basically it makes your system slower because it has to travel farther. It's information is having to travel farther, so it's gonna take a little longer. But if you can shorten that distance, like with this design, and so this one is complete, it's made so that you're in the inside the whole time, but the outside is kind of it looks really cool. This is the most redstone-y thing I've ever done, and it looks so sick, I think. And so you have all these silos, and you can see this is one of the shortest possible routes you could take. So we have our unloading system and our reloading system right here. The system that keeps the minecart on the loop, looking for items to be dropped down. That's going around in circles, and whenever it's full, it'll send a switch and rotate the railroad, and it's gonna send it this way. And it's gonna shoot the minecart, boom, 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 boom. It's gonna end up over here. And depending on which silo is full, if this first one's taken, it'll redirect you to this one. If this one's also taken, it'll redirect you to this one. If all of a sudden that first one is now open, now you can fill this one up. And so in that way, it's a little more efficient there. And again, I'm rambling about how cool this thing is because to me it's so cool, the intricate workings and just seeing how my brain has evolved to make this more compact, find the issues in it. And it's something I think Minecraft is just really good at, is just making you good at just engineering. So that was out that way. Oh wait, what the fuck am I doing? I forgot. Our main XP farm is up there. The main one, the big kahuna, like the thing that gets us to like 700 levels and then we die in the trial chambers because we've never played it before. But this is our big mob. Oh shit. Oh! Alright, a little bit better. Basically, you just go down into here and you just get XP. That's really it. I don't know how it works. That's a lie. I do know how it works. We have these piglins, or pigmen. They're pigmen now. They're zombified pigments. They used to just be pigmen, but now I'm an old head. Besides the point though, these guys are constantly aggroed because we hit one of their homies, and they're just at the radius where they can re-aggro every other zombie that's spawning within this radius. And so they run at me, and all those minecarts that were just so loud entity cram until they're all dead. And so this thing also gives me a lot of gold, which I think I'm going to use to talk about... Jesus, I have so much gold. I'm going to talk about spawn. My spawn is completely covered in gold, just to preface where I'm about to go. And yeah, there's nothing cool here. It's just gold placed over the terrain. Wow. Our raid farm, just show you that. And beyond that, I think we're kind of getting close. We're getting close to having everything just about wrapped up. But so this is where we go to get our ominous whatever that thing's called. You can see here, this is the footprint of what used to be here. This is the pillager hut. And so yeah, so they go up this bubble column, and then they just go into this little thing for me to kill and reap the benefits. And not far away from this, where we farm, what's it even called? Bottle of ominous bottle. It used to just be bad omen, but now we have the ominous bottle, and this is our raid farm. I don't even know if this thing works anymore, and so if that's the case, we're cooked. But this at one time was a raid farm, and it worked really well, and we still have a bunch of loot from it. So I'm not pressed even if it does stop working. You know, we're good. We're set. Okay, so now we're back at the main hub. We're going to have to go off-roading a little bit. In this direction, you'll see Wither Skull Farm. And this is a little reference back to something we mentioned a little earlier. Our Wither Skull, the perimeter, the giant perimeter that we dug out. And here it is. It's the biggest project I've ever done. And it is 16 by 16 chunks. I think it's something like that. It's 3 million-ish blocks around there. And even if we amp the render distance, you can't see the edges because of the blur. And it's kind of hard to, like, look at this thing. And a couple gas spawn inside here, and they've blown up the wall. But for the most part, everything's still intact. All that glass we had to use building this thing. This thing is a total perimeter. It completely boxes this thing in. And then in here, this is our actual farm. And the farm isn't even centered on the chunks. But yeah, this thing's cool. Works really well. All right, so that's, I mean, I'm not going to lie. That's pretty much everything. Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of, like, little stuff. And that's the reason I think I will supply my 1K special video world tour with the world download, because there's a bunch of like little stuff like this, just like old projects that I didn't really have time to cover or really like touch on, and they're not impactful enough into my world for me to really mention them either. Like this doesn't drive the world. In fact, this thing's almost full. Like I gotta start figuring this shit out, like figuring out where I want to do with all that. But yeah, there's just a bunch of little projects here and there that maybe you'll find, maybe you'll be able to look into and be like, wow, that's pretty neat. But we didn't look at this, but there's nothing there. There's nothing there. I'm not gonna lie. There's nothing there. Like there's something there, but oh hell, let's do it. And I guess I'll give the backstory for this place since we're gonna be on the end of this. Basically, on the old PC, back when I couldn't load anything and I couldn't record this world and I couldn't do anything, it was getting to the point where my base was so laggy that I needed to make a new base. And that's what this was going to be. We had so many materials, and we were going to build this island back, and we were going to make it look super big, and it's going to have a storage system for us. But then we built a new PC, and there was no reason to have this place anymore. So now it's a dead project, and it will stay a dead project. I think it looks nice, and it's cool that we built it, but it's just something we built now. But yeah, thank you guys for stopping by. Thank you guys for sharing your time with me and being on my channel. Just if you're here for a little while, it's always fun. Make sure you let me know what you guys think. If you're someone that watched my older stuff and has watched my old world tours and has seen how far this world has come, let me know. Let me know what you think, because I know there's some of you guys out there. And again, thank you for 1,000 subscribers. That's cool. Like, little me is like kicking his feet. He thinks it's so cool. Bye.
I love